The much anticipated 2022 Golf R is only a few months away, and paving the way for this exciting new vehicle is the current model. Let's explore what makes this outgoing model so special. I love this car. I love the interior of this car. It's just, for me, it's everything that it does. All the screens, all the touch, all the feel, the buttons. This is one of those cars that it offers a lot. It's like a Swiss Army knife where it just does a little bit of everything. The bead handles really good. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, where this car's got the best steering feel in these little hot hatches. It's just the nose does exactly what you want. And yeah, I'm absolutely in love. The materials in here are incredible. Everything is so nice to feel. The steering wheel, the leather, it's very nice. The shape is really nice. It's like small enough that it has really good rotation. In terms of cup holders, it's doing this German thing where the cup holders are too small. In some German cars, you have these little knobs that kind of keep your cup fixed. This car has it in both cup holders. And why that's an issue, it's because if you go anywhere in North America and you order a large cup, it will not fit in these cup holders. They're just too small. The phone holder here, so many cars have issues where you can place your phone. It's either got to be on you or you put it by the cup holders and it rattles. This car actually has a dedicated slot here. And I have a huge phone and it fits perfect. It's incredible. It feels huge just because there's so much visibility. These windows are massive. The view out of here just feels HD. I love that. It feels like a panoramic view. Headroom, legroom, space. Well, if there is a third person, which if this car has that option, it will be cramped. But if there's only two people in the back here, there's more than enough space. There is no extra features like heated seats or anything other than just hot and cold air, but that's okay. It's a Golf R. It's not a premium Audi RS6 or anything like that. But regardless, there is a lot of space in here. It feels like I can breathe here. Oh, they don't come on, but they do normally. Let's go check the trunk. All right, so looks wise, this might not be the most interesting looking car in the world, but it's a hatchback and people love it just because it exists. And well, it's a nice car and people should love it. I particularly love this car. I know our cameraman might not feel like he's completely in love with it, but you know, to each their own. Nope. There is not much to distinguish this car from a GTI or even a regular Golf if you don't look very carefully. If you hide the Golf R badge, it's basically just a Golf. But the quad pipes tell you everything. It tells you that it's a Golf R, it tells you it's 4-wheel drive, it tells you it's got an amazing 0 to 60, it tells you it's really fast, really fun to drive, even though the regular Golf is also super fun to drive. Are going to be very few people out there that don't like this car. This car offers space, speed, it looks great, it has a lot of color options. We asked the owner of this car why he chose this color. He said he wanted to fly under the radar because he knew he was going to modify it and he knew that the car would create a lot of attention. So in order for him not to create negative attention, he said, I just want a fast daily car and I just want to focus on driving it, which it drives great. New turbocharger, can't wait for the quarter mile. We're gonna go to the track. As soon as they go to the track with Eurocharged Canada, we're gonna go with them. I always go with them. And I am thinking it's gonna be a low 11-second quarter mile car at the very least. Definitely not a 10-second, it doesn't have that in it. The launch in this car is incredibly fast. It feels faster than what it is. I was told it's 3.3 seconds in the winter. I believe that. I actually believe that. It just, the camera guy, when we were shooting it, he flew to the back. Like he even said, whoa, like I can't keep up with the G-force when you initially
get that hit. The all-wheel drive is absolutely incredible. And yeah, like this car was a surprise to drive in a good way, and not so in a good way, the fact that when you think 500 horsepower, you don't think it's going to be a normal 288 horsepower Golf everyday driving it. So that split personality gives it a little bit of a unique feel in the sense of how hard you have to fight to get that extra performance out of the car, but the performance is there. It surprises really fast cars on the road. And we had a moment when we were driving it where kind of playing around with a Panamera Turbo S, and the Panamera Turbo S actually couldn't do anything against this car. That's just insane. So with that being said, let's just go drive the thing.
Let's see what 500 horsepower in a Golf R feels like. Now 500 horsepower is a big power increase from 288, and we gotta find out if the rest of the car matches the personality of 500 horsepower. The brakes were designed for 300 horsepower, let's say, and then with that being said, they feel good. The pedal feels good. It cuts down speed fast enough. Even when you are accelerating quite fast, it cuts down speed. It gives me a lot of confidence, and therefore I think the brakes were ready for more power. The chassis of this car is absolutely phenomenal. It keeps the car planted. The all-wheel drive system works together with it so well that it just gives you a lot of movement. The car just rotates really well. There's almost no understeer in this car. At the edge, at the limit, because it's a little cold, it has a little push, but that's okay. It just rotates almost immediately. And with a car that has the same wheelbase as an RS3, it's very surprising that there's so little understeer in this car. The suspension I'm not really happy with, and that's because it's meant for comfort. It's meant for daily drivability, so it gives you a very compliant ride, but it doesn't give you that racing feeling that I really want. When I hit certain elevation changes, it just compressed too much. It almost felt like we were scraping, and I know we weren't, but again, I wish it was a little stiffer. I wish it gave me a little bit more confidence, but because the rest of the car is so good, still going through the corners, it's an absolute pleasure. It just does it so well. The car does sound great though. 500 horsepower in a Golf R seems natural, seems like it's the right thing. It can do it. It doesn't give me any feeling that any part of this car is just outmatched by the horsepower. Everything feels in unison. It feels OEM plus, and that's huge praise, because to go from 300 horsepower to 500 horsepower is not easy for the rest of the car to elevate to that next step without doing absolutely nothing to it. So VW has to have had this car prepared for this. Yes, the suspension is a little soft, but that's okay, because driving it every day, it feels very good. It's good enough. And the rest of the chassis, it just makes up for that softness of the suspension. It stays very flat. So 500 horsepower all-wheel drive. Let's see what that's like. It's fast. It's really fast. The launch in this car is incredible. It just rips your face off. And this transmission is just wow. The gear changes are just snap. Yeah, 500 horsepower in a light car really feels good. In a stock turbo car, when you go through the RPMs, it just feels like it runs out of juice at the top end. In this car, the higher up you go, the more power it has up there. And that feeling of a constant surge is really addicting. When you turbo, intercooler, inlet, the downpipes, E85 mix, which is running out really fast. And out of all the modifications, I think the E85 is the only thing I really would not recommend, just because the fuel range is very, very, very short. But the rest of it is beautiful. I think this turbo is given a good sense of drivability every day, that it doesn't poke you. It just wants you to drive like a normal behaved civilian, and that personality on the lower range really keeps the aggression down. And when you really want to go fast, this car has you covered. It has that sense of aggression up top where the 500 horsepower really shows. On the bottom end, you might not even be aware that it has 500 horsepower, and that split personality really gives this car a range of drivability. I'd be very interested to see what this car does at the quarter. I know that it's been 11.6 with its previous setup. I think it's definitely going to be a low 11-second car with this turbo, and with a built motor, I'm thinking 10s. I'm thinking this car is going to achieve 10s. With all of its components together, really mesh so well that it makes the Golf R really special. And we can't wait to see what the 2022 model is going to be like. We've seen pictures, and I think it's going to be a phenomenal car. I think it's going to continue in the great footsteps of this car that it's been loved by so many people. I don't know what has two pockets, one from this angle and one from that angle. I just want to say thank you so much to the camera guy, who will remain nameless for now, but I just want to say he is growing a sweet stash. It's very thin, very, very muscular, very French. I just want to know the thinking behind the thin stash. You know, I don't grow a beard for a reason. When I grow a beard, I get a double chin. So you see this? Yeah, when you get older, this doesn't go away. This shit stays. You have one piece of chocolate and it's like holidays and everything. You've been